All new at 10, a group of neighbors are fighting to save 100-year-old ash trees in Logan. The trees stand along Logan's Canyon Road in the Island neighborhood. Members of the Canyon Road Coalition say the city notified them that the trees would have to be removed to install a water pipeline. Today, the coalition was at Utah State University spreading the word about saving the trees.
They're landmarks, they're historic, they're a really important part of our neighborhood. They're beloved by not just us that live behind those trees, but by residents of the island, residents of Logan, residents of the valley, and beyond.
They're big and beautiful. The coalition hopes to have a big turnout during a public meeting set for Thursday. Logan Public Works hosting the meeting at 5:30 in the conference room of Logan City Hall.
Here on Old Main Hill, the university spokesperson Amanda Dorito wants to make sure one thing is clear.
Student safety is always our primary concern when we have issues around safety on campus.
It's why students were evacuated Thursday night, January 17th.
We don't want to take any chances when there are unanswered questions.
Utah State University Police and Logan Fire Department were called to Mountain View Tower where they found a student with a mixture of chemicals. But that wasn't the first time they paid that student a visit. Here's a timeline of what happened. According to a probable cause statement from the Cache County Attorney's Office, police went to Mountain View Tower on Monday, January 13th. USU police say Joshua Peter Jager set off the fire alarm by mixing chemicals, which they confiscated. Police deemed the room safe. On Thursday, police say Jager set off the fire alarm again.
Students received an Aggie alert on their phones telling them to shelter in place after a chemical spill contaminated the first floor of Mountain View Towers.
Students later evacuated. In the probable cause statement, police say Jager acknowledged setting off the alarm and police took him into custody.
I was just annoyed because it was the fourth time in 3 days that the fire alarm had gone off.
Firefighters investigated the spill with hazmat suits. They helped some students decontaminate from the spill, while others waited outside or in neighboring buildings. Once safe, students returned to their dorms. But this wasn't the end of the investigation. The following Tuesday, the Federal Bureau of Investigation visited campus twice after USU Environmental Health and Safety found uranium ore.
I was very shocked about that. I feel like that's very dangerous, and I just can't believe that was happening somewhere where I live.
Investigators returned on Wednesday for a final inspection. They cleared out residents for a few hours and searched for more hazardous materials. USU police says they found no more threats to students and deemed the building safe. Dorito says Jager is no longer a student at the university. Moving forward, she hopes students will let administrators know what's going on.
We really want to encourage students to share information, to see something, say something.
Candidates spent most of the day on Monday reaching out to students. They had signs up and some had treats to hand out. Sydney Lyman, a current USUSA officer, says it's important to vote because officers voice students' concerns to administrators.
It's really important that we elect good, kind, smart, responsible people into these positions because they do have a massive amount of power.
Lyman says student leaders help determine fees and tuition cost. The candidates running for president are Nate Flake, Garrett Lawton, and Brandon Sorensen, who is a junior studying marketing and PR. The candidates for executive vice president who help run the academic senate are junior Braden Adamson, sophomore Max Alder, and junior Will Hull. The candidates running for student advocate vice president are junior Colin Hastings, junior Mila Millett, and sophomore Ronan Spencer. For the executive council, the candidates for Logan campus vice president are junior Matthew Peters, senior Madison Schultz, and sophomore Po Yamakoshi Singh. Running for student events executive director are juniors Josie Packer and Jake Russell. Two candidates ran unopposed. Ben Burdett for Logan campus athletics and campus recreation executive director, and Mia Bean for Logan campus clubs and organizations executive director. On Tuesday, candidates held a debate in the Taggart Student Center. Candidates took the stage and shared their plans if students elected them. The only presidential candidate to show up was Brandon Sorensen, who advocates for a more connected USU.
Whoever does get elected, I'm excited for that opportunity for them or for me to be able to play such an important part in how our university is going to keep going forward.
After the debate, the candidates went back out for some last-minute campaigning and encouraging students to get out and vote. Up and down Main Street, cars line bumper to bumper on a Friday at 5 p.m.
My experience with Main Street has mostly been that of traffic and congestion. I try to avoid driving on it as much as possible.
It's not just cars that face this traffic. It's people who walk along Main Street.
Sometimes when I'm walking, I'll have to sit at an intersection for 3-4 minutes just waiting to cross the street.
The Utah Department of Transportation proposed plans to increase space for drivers and people who walk along Main Street to make downtown safer to travel.
When we see the benefits of the projects, we generally support them and support the data that's in that study.
Some of the proposals focus on connecting streets that will help traffic flow on Main Street.
One of the projects is to extend this street 200 east with this street 100 east with a lane going in both directions and a two-way left turn lane.
UDOT plans to connect 5 other streets. 600 with 400 west, 200 west right off of Main Street, 100 to 200 west, 600 east and Center Street to 200 north, and realign 600 north at Main Street.
I'm glad they're making the effort to help and solve this issue. I'm just worried that what's going to end up happening with their plan is that it's just going to cause more congestion and it's going to create more problems than it solves.
Lindhart says the city hopes for a positive impact.
We never go into a project thinking this is going to be negative, but we got to do it. Instead, we go in saying, hey, here's the positive that can come from it, but there's always trade-offs.
Lindhart says the city knows their projects impact everyone.
We just need to make sure that the positive outweighs the negative.
They moved into the International Lounge in the Taggart Student Center. People who stopped by piloted small drones. The USU Drone Works Club had different sized drones on display, as well as a drone simulation machine. Aviation technology professor Andreas Wiesman says Aviation Week is open to everyone, but the main purpose is to highlight their growing program.
It's about being proud of our major and our professions and just the type of students that want to go into this.
Wiesman says this week puts aviation students out in front of campus, showing how they've grown in the program. Students gathered in the Eccles Science Learning Center. There was cheering in the beginning, followed by frustration, and then nervous expressions all across the auditorium, ultimately ending with the realization the Aggies weren't going to move on in the tournament. And some fans were disappointed, while others looked forward to the future.
It was bad. It was just bad.
That was not our best showing.
Hopefully next year we can come back and win some more games. We got next year. Jared Calhoun's coming back. Mason Falslo's coming back. I'm calling it now.
We'll see how the Aggies hold up next year. We love our Aggies.
We'll get them next time. I'll be an Aggie forever and always. So we'll get them next year, boys. Good job.